All right, what's up, y'all? My name's Cam.
Hey y'all, I'm Desinae.
Hey, it's Jada.
Hey, I'm Jay, and you're listening to For Deep, a podcast with four Black women in their 20-somethings who aren't afraid to get deep with it.
And don't forget to go follow us on Instagram at 4DPod, FOURDEEPPOD. And if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, don't forget to rate us 5 stars. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications.
And as always, we want to hear what y'all think about the episode, what our deep rating is. So make sure to let us know in our comments, our DMs. You can go to Spotify and participate in the poll. But yeah, let us know what you think our deep rating is.
All right, y'all. So we're about to get into Rosebud and Thorn. If this is your first time listening or watching us, Rose is something that was good that happened to us in the past week. A bud is something that we're excited for that's in the making. And a thorn is something that was kind of a little and a little, a little salt on our game for the last week. So who wants to go ahead and start this one off?
I want to go last because I need to think.
I know. And you always go first, Cam.
Guys, you would think that, I'd have this together.
Right.
Well. Wait, were you about to go, Desinae?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, while everybody's thinking, I did have something that I wanted to say because God was convicting me, y'all. And in episode 3, I was kind of being a little fake in areas where I shouldn't have been. So I wanted to apologize to all of y'all and also the listeners because I said that my thorn was that I wasn't able to get the Beyonce concert tickets. And honestly, I really did not care. And the reason why I say that is because when I first knew that I didn't sign up for the right thing, I heard God tell me, like, it's okay, daughter, like I'm protecting you from going. And I was at peace with it. And then I feel like I said it was a thorn to kind of connect to the audience and like make them feel like my feels, like I was trying to connect. But I wanted to apologize because that was not it. And God told me, no, you need to correct that. And also just like knowing, I just felt like ever since I got saved, he was really like talking to me about Beyonce and like giving me this word. And then I started hearing all this other stuff, like all these other videos about Beyonce. So if y'all going to her concerts, like just cover y'all selves with prayer. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to pray for y'all too. But I just had to get that out. So yeah, there we go.
Thank you for your transparency.
Right.
Being real, letting that out, really going back and apologizing and, really like, just getting that out there. That was, girl.
And for staying authentic to yourself.
Thank you. That was 4D. Right. We started off right, y'all.
Okay. Let me just go. Let's roll off the tongue. Jay speaking for the listeners. My rose from this week would be getting featured on Kyler's podcast. That was really, really nice. Me and Jada were on there as like a comeback episode because we both had our own. And so that was really cool. And it was really just like, it was great vibes. Go listen. It's called Banquet Hall Pod for the listeners. So after you finish listening to this, you can go listen to that. And also, okay, so bud, something that I'm planting, I'm brewing. A lot of inventory has came in for the rebrand and also for an event that I'm providing goodie bags for via Black Beauty Near You.
Oh. So
although it's kind of a thorn in my butt that all of this stuff is downstairs piling, it's a but because I'm excited. Things are rolling. It has been getting overwhelming at times. Just there are so many hats, and I was talking about this last night. Like a lot of times, I be leaving my hats at home, and I'll be forgetting one, or I'll forget about one, or and so things have been getting overwhelming. So in addition to that, I'm gonna start although I have a to-do list, I think I'm gonna start actually attaching the things on my list to times in my day. Kind of like Jada, like how you have your schedule on the wall. I think that would be helpful. So yeah. And so I guess that kind of goes in my bud and thorn, because these past few days have been very, very overwhelming. And the weather was not helping because it was very gloomy out here, but the sun is out today. It was gloomy earlier, but the sun is out right now, so I'm happy about that. Spring is coming. Daylight savings is over, hopefully permanently. No more laws changing because I'm sorry, but I like the sun out. I like to be outside. And so, yeah, that's my rosebud and thorn.
I guess I can go. I didn't even really think it out, to be honest. I'm gonna just, throw whatever is out there.
Wait, Desinae, before you go, I know Jay, you said that you were doing that you wanted to do the times. Desinae and I got something for you in a little bit for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That'll be perfect for entrepreneurs and just busy people in general.
Okay.
Okay, so for my rose, I had a meeting with this lady. Her name is Elizabeth, and she's more so like a mentor for women executives. She really gave me, she actually hires project managers. So like she had all the answers for me. And so basically she just gave me a lot of tips she actually helped me with my resume. So like I already was like good on that end, but she was just helping with the cover letter, with creating like an elevator pitch. So I was able to like practice that with her. And she just gave me like a lot of tips for like interviews and things that they look for. So that was definitely like a rose for me because I just feel like hella equipped. Like I feel like, like I'm ready. Like she literally hires the people, like she literally hires people just like me. So she just had all the answers for me and it went really well. And it was just such good energy. And so I now have her as a mentor that I can, reach out to for whatever things I need while I'm going through this job search. A bud would be me and my friends plan a trip to Jamaica for May.
Oh.
Yeah,
That
so
sounds
we
so fun.
bought that ticket. And so yeah, I'm like super excited about that. Never been out the country, so girl. So I guess my thorn would be the passport situation. So I've never had a passport. I didn't have a passport. Um, I don't know. Maybe we honestly was just like this just came out of nowhere. It was just like spring of the moment. Oh, let's buy these tickets. Wasn't even thinking about the passport. So the ticket is bought. The passport, we still got a little situation going on. So I do have an appointment set, but I'm definitely gonna have to pay like extra fees and all that stuff to have it expedited and get it earlier and sooner. So that's definitely a thorn for me because getting the passport, the whole process has just been stressful because everybody's trying to get
Yeah.
ready for the summer. Everybody's trying to get a passport. So getting the appointments and stuff like that have been difficult.
Mm.
But I'm gonna power through. Hopefully it gets here on time. Well, I'm gonna make sure it gets here on time. I'm gonna pay whatever I
It
got.
will.
But
Yeah.
that was my rosebud and thorn.
Me and Gail, you're doing a stare down like, so you gonna go?
It reminds me of that GIF. It's like Diddy and that guy, and it was like going back and forth between the two of them staring. Y'all know what I'm talking about? That's exactly that's what came to mind right now. I could go though. Like I thought of something. So let's see. My rose is that I had a very nice spring break. I'm back at school as of today. So I guess that's also my thorn.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah,
go back
that's
to school.
valid.
But
Yeah.
I had a really, really good break. I got a lot of sleep and had a lot of fun and just got to like do nothing or like wake up and be like,
Yeah.
what should I do today? Like it was very nice. And then my bud, I can tell y'all about a book that I'm reading right now. It's called Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. And I literally just started it, like maybe chapter 1, chapter 2, because I got a library card and there's a library around the corner from me, which I didn't know.
Oh, that's perfect.
So the book is about it's like a Black girl. I don't remember how old she is. I want to say she's like probably like 21, 22 in the book. And then she's like a nanny or like a babysitter for this like upper middle class, like white family. And the premise of the book is just based around like a situation that happens where she had the baby with her at a grocery store and the security thought that like she was stealing the baby, and of course like the family was able to come in and like diffuse the situation and nothing ever happened, but then it's like the rest of the book is talking about like the aftermath and like dealing with like privilege and things like that. So I'm interested to see how it goes. I kind of didn't want to read it at first because it kind of felt like, I like to read fiction because it's not like relevant to my life or like reality, kind of like an escape. And this is like, don't really feel like it's going to be an escape, but I'm giving it a chance. So, yeah.
Okay.
I might want to read it.
I know.
Yeah, let y'all
That sound
know.
good.
Gotta come back and do the review.
Yes, definitely will.
All right. So let's see. My bud. Oh, I got a couple of no. I'm sorry. Rose. I
Wait.
got a couple of them.
Wait, Cam, did you do your thorn?
Yeah, my thorn was that I'm back at school.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
right.
Let's see. Okay, so Rose, I signed a client, so
Yay.
Okay.
I know I was on here last time. I was on business and make money, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Big
So
money.
so I'm happy for that. And shout out to her too, because I know that that's like a huge step. Like that's just congratulations to you. So that's really fun. And I need to really actually celebrate myself and not just let it go by. So I'm really trying to be intentional about that. Another rose is that I met with my my advisor for my certification course for the event planning. And on the same day, I was working a wedding, which was yesterday. And I was working with the event planner there. And this was the most involved I've ever been a part of like a wedding. And I was actually working like hands-on with the event planner. And I didn't mind it because it's typically not my job, but I didn't mind it because that's what I'm trying to do. So I was really like in there. People thought I was with their team. And she took pictures with me as if I was with their team and like everything. And so I shot my shot. And I was talking to one of the ladies that's on her team, and she was like, "Yeah, girl, like you should definitely like reach out to her." And, like she said, "I'm shadowing right now," and she, allowed me to come along. I said, "Really? I thought you was like a part of the team." She was like, "Yeah, this is my first event." I was like, "What?" So I emailed her today. I actually need to check my email to see if she replied, but I emailed her today about it, and I sent her my resume. Shout out to Desinae because she helped me, and I definitely was like redoing my resume and took some of the tips that I learned in episode 3. Shout out, go listen. And so I really took some of those tips. I did it up, and it looks really good. And I sent it off to her, so I'm excited to see what she says because I really want to be an intern for her. So those are my buds. No, my roses. I keep getting mixed up. My bud would be something that's coming up. Well, okay, I booked. My cousins, they called me and they wanted me to book a cruise for January 2025. And I said, right. I said, I don't know where I'm going to be in 2025. Like, y'all tripping. But I mean, hey, I put the deposit down, non-refundable. So I guess I'm going on a cruise in January 2025. This is my first cruise, so I'm excited about it. And it's a 7-day cruise. So we're going to be on there for a whole week. And I think we're going to like, I don't even know. I forgot, but it's going to be somewhere in Mexico and some other countries. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited. And it's with my cousin, so some nice cousin bonding. And then a thorn. Be my thorn. I'm really trying to think. Oh, yesterday while I was at the event, y'all, I was tested. And I mean, like I overcame it. So I guess it was like it turns into a rose, but like it was really, really hard. Like one of the guys at the event came up to me and was like, "Hey, you know where I can get some weed at?" And I was just like, I was like, I do, but like I shouldn't right now. But I mean, I slipped the plug anyway. I was like, okay, here you go. But that happened, and then this other guy was trying to give me his number, and I was like, I can't do this, y'all. Like, so it was really, really hard because like old me would have just been like on the flirting tip, like, what's up? But I had to really, remember my why, remember why I'm being obedient in this season. But it was really hard, like to the point where I literally felt sick to my stomach because I was going the opposite of what my flesh wanted. So I just felt so sick on the inside. But it felt good after I journaled about it and woke up this morning. So yeah.
I'm so proud of you. I just love to hear this growth. And
Thank you.
shout out to you for putting yourself out there and shooting your shot. Like, You are just, and you are glowing right now. I don't think I told you, like,
Yes, I was
Yeah,
thinking that.
like,
definitely.
you look super
Smile
cute
as big as
today.
ever.
Like,
Oh, thanks,
Okay.
friends.
And on the note of friends, we're gonna be talking about friendship today.
Right.
Yes.
Beautiful transition.
Ooh-wee.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, let's get into it.
it's gonna be
I
heavy,
can
y'all.
start. I can start. I already
What you
know
got
how
on
I
your
want to start.
chest?
I already know Jay got
I
some.
think definitely like this is something that I live by, like friends versus associates, period.
Mm, there's a
I
line.
do not, I mean, it's thick. Um, I am one of those people, like I do not use the term friend loosely, and it's not in a negative way. In a way for it's for me to create boundaries because I be doing a lot. As far as like caring for people and showing up and all that, and yeah, like you really, I really have to draw that line for myself when it comes to friends versus associates. It's not to say like my associates, like, you know, I'm not cool with or there's beef or nothing, never that. But friends just, like it's an extra oomph and it does help when it comes to like I mean, a lot of people say, oh, like don't expect anything from anybody, but no, like I expect certain things from the people I call my friends. I expect certain things from my family, or certain family members, and I have to make some kind of line. And it depends on how you define friend, how you define associate, so forth, so forth. But I know the way I define it, I have to, you know, have a line in there because for me personally, friends, they hold a lot of a weight in my life, and I can't just be calling everybody my friend because that would be stressful. And so, yeah, I just want to start with that, and I hope for some people, that helps because a lot of times I know before I didn't even think about that, and it's helped me a lot when it's come to like expectations for one, or even just how I exert, where I put my energy, who, I'm expecting to pour into me as well. So,
Right.
yeah. How y'all feel about that? Like, have I ever thought about like friends versus associates, or like, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but yeah. And has that like line ever been difficult for you to draw, or was there a moment where you're like, okay, I've had enough?
definitely. I definitely feel like in terms of like friendships, like you definitely got to put work into friendships just like you do relationships. Like there's a level of effort that you have to put forth. It really does take two to tango, and you really do need to be there for your friends. Whereas associates are more so, I see you and like, yeah, we say, hey, I support you, here and there, like, but it doesn't take that, yeah, it doesn't take that same amount of energy. Like being a good friend really does take, mental energy, physical energy. Like it does, it's work. A friendship is work just like a relationship is work.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually reading that in the book that I'm reading right now called Good Vibes, Good Life. Shout out Desinae. You recommended it to me. And they were really talking about friendships, and I was like, wow. And they were saying how like friendships require sacrifice, and that's so true. And how like, you can draw that line based on, hey, like how much would I actually be willing to sacrifice for this person? And also if you ask them like, oh, we friends, and somebody actually draws that line, say, no, you're my associate, don't be offended. Don't be offended at all.
Yeah.
You can, I mean, maybe I get it if you have like a different expectation, you call that person friend, it can sting a little bit, but just know that it's not coming from like a place of, I don't want you to be my friend, but that's just not how the dynamic is for that person in that time. So yeah, definitely don't take it to heart, but you can have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that just from like thinking of like workspaces that I've been in, specifically like at UCSD, a lot of us who were students and who had jobs were usually working in like the community aspect. So we'd be working at resource centers, or we might be working like part of spaces. So you were in a student organization, but you were paid to be part of that student organization. And so a lot of times, because you spend a lot of time with people, everybody kind of like gets like a conflated sense of like what our relationships actually are, especially because these spaces too required a lot of vulnerability from us. So some people, because they felt like they were more open and vulnerable and sharing, like that we were all like friends on the same level. And it's like, we're cool and we work together, but I promise you, our relationship is not as deep as you might think it is. And for me, I'm very much a like separate person. Like where I work, we can be cool, but we are not friends for real. And like, I also think too, when I used to work at In-N-Out, that was also a different environment where people were very close and things were very personal. And I'm like, I'm just here to get a check and go. But I did have friends there who like, we would hang out outside. So like, for me, it was like, I know where a friendship is for me versus an acquaintanceship. When I actually pursue trying to like spend time with you and get to know you outside of whatever space it is that we're usually in together that like brings us together. Or like if we have a shared friend, you are somebody that I know and you're cool and you're my acquaintance, but it's like we're not friends just because we share a friend, unless I know that we have that kind of like relationship or that time spent or that energy given, like, you know, Jay was saying.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And the worst is when you have somebody that you call a friend and then they do the opposite of what friends are supposed to do. And I've had that. And I've always kept my circle real small, like real small. And I don't know, I wasn't really too big on making a whole lot of new friends. I was really that like no new friends type of person. But then I was like, no, like you got to get out there, especially after this move, you know. I'm like, okay, I have to like make some sort of friends, some people that has to have my back out here. And so like now I would say I have a lot of acquaintances, but I definitely probably have like 2 friends. So I really do like drawing that line because like you said, Jay, it really helps with boundaries with knowing, okay, this is how I can show up in this space and I can preserve my energy with this person. And if they try to expect more out of me, then that's when I can actually draw that line and tell them, hey, no, not it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that just made me think like it's different levels to everything too. Like I know it's some friends that's literally like my family, like, you know, and some friends is really, you know, we friends, you know, and it's nothing like it's just that when you're like categorizing the relationship, if you will, you can tell the difference. But like, you know, there's levels to different things. So you just have to, I think it benefits like the person who's making those boundaries rather than the other way around. Because it just helps. I can speak for myself. It just helps me personally, you know, like I said, focus on where my energy is going. But, you know, there's different levels to different things. And, you know, you just have to figure out what's best for you. And a lot of recently, especially last year, I noticed a lot of things were draining me or not even so draining me. It's like I was pouring so much out, like nothing was being not nothing, let me not be dramatic, but a good amount was not being poured back in. And I remember I was like, I'm not saying this to say I'm expecting, you know, what I give to be returned. Like that's not at all. But I literally feel drained. I feel exhausted and, you know, something's not right. And that's when I realized like if I'm pouring so much out, I'm giving, and I'm not receiving, I'm gonna feel that difference. And so you have to realize, okay, like where am I pouring that's not benefiting me? Because don't get me wrong, like there were a lot of people in my life who were still pouring into me, but there were some people that I was pouring into that were not. And I had to, you know, take a step back and be like, all right, you know, we have to slice and dice, move from this category to this one, or maybe to move from this category to not even in a category. So yeah, for sure had to, you know, go through that. But like, you know, just try to figure out what's best. Cause child, it's hard out here. And at the end of the day, you're gonna have your back at the end of the day. So just make sure you gotta get that together.
And I feel like touching on that really goes into the like outgrowing friendships thing. I think that's a big thing to talk about because I definitely feel like there's like an expectation for you to stay friends with somebody just because y'all have been friends for such a long time, even if that relationship is no longer serving you. And I definitely feel like that happened to me. I feel like that happened to me. And I definitely had to put somebody from one category into another category because it was just taking so much out of me. And I just couldn't keep, yeah, it was like, not that, you know, my friend, because I don't want to, you know, speak negatively about her or anything like that, but like,
Mhm.
it just wasn't serving me anymore. The friendship just wasn't serving me anymore. And so I kind of just like had to take a step back, but I also had to deal with like the guilt of that, of like feeling like, dang, like I outgrew this friendship. Like I love her, you know, like we love each other, but, and like, you know, there's no beef, like there's no bad energy or animosity, you know, at least from my end. Um, but definitely had to like take a step back and deal with those things. And that's like, a friendship breakup is like a regular breakup. It's just as hurtful.
Bro.
It cuts just as
Yeah.
deep. And
Mhm.
even though it does hurt though, do know that like that don't mean that it was the wrong move. You know what I'm saying? Like you are still doing what's right for you, and really do not feel like you have to tie yourself to somebody just because y'all have history. Like you got to look at friendships just like you look at relationships. You know, is this serving me? You know, is there a get and give here? Yeah, like is it, are we really, is this a good friendship? And really just got to learn how to deal with those emotions. Well, I have to learn how to deal with those emotions. I'm still dealing with those emotions. But that was definitely something I had to realize, that everybody doesn't have to be so close to me, or like I don't have to give as much energy as I was given before just because that's what they've been expecting me to do. Um, as you know, we go through our own life changes, all of our relationships are going to change as well, and that does mean friendships. So
So, Desinae, how do you know when you're outgrowing a friendship? Like, what are some telltale signs for you?
okay, so for me personally, it'd be similar to like what Jay said. So like if I feel like this relationship is like exhausting to me, or like it's draining me, and like then I like don't have energy for myself type of thing, that's like really one of the signs. Um, and then I'll say another thing is kind of just like the context of conversation. Um, Depending on, you know, like where you guys are in your lives. Um, I don't know, some of the things that you guys talk about may not be of interest anymore, or you know, you can't really understand where they're coming from in a certain way, so you can't, I don't know, empathize with them, or like, I mean, so for example, uh one of my friends, she had a baby. And, you know, I don't have no kids. And so, you know, when she would talk about certain things, you know, that she was going through, and then, you know, I would give her my feedback, it would be something that she don't want to hear. But at the same time, it's like you can't really expect me to fully understand because I don't have a child. I don't have a baby's father. Like I couldn't really put myself in your shoes type of thing. And it would really just be like a headbutt with that all the time. Or because I definitely, and not to say that like, you know, I just, you know, run off at the mouth and, you know, say stuff when I'm not supposed to say stuff. Because I'm definitely the type of person who like doesn't like to give, you know, my opinion unless it's asked. You know, like I definitely know how to just sit there and listen. Like if you really just want me to sit here and listen, I'm here for that. But like if you had asked me, you know what I'm saying, and then I say what I gotta say, and now you mad, well, maybe you shouldn't have asked me. But like now we bumping heads on that accord because you kind of going through something that I just simply can't understand. Um, Something else. I would feel like, and then for me, like knowing that a relationship is draining for me, I subconsciously start to avoid the relationship. I had noticed myself, you know, maybe not answering the phone as, you know, as much as I usually would, or maybe not texting back as much as I usually would. And it's like not even that I feel anything bad, it's just that like now I don't have that energy. I'm realizing that I don't have that energy, and the dynamic just naturally starts to change. You just know, like you just, I don't know, like you just you feel it. You definitely feel the difference in a relationship the next time that you guys talk. Um, and the connection is not really what it once was, type of thing. And now it's to the point where, oh, well, if you don't understand me in this way, well, now I can't open up to you about this, but this is primarily what
Mm.
my life is. So
Right.
Yeah.
what more do we have to talk about? Um, so kind of just stuff like that. I don't know. It just got really, really difficult. Yeah, really difficult for us to have conversations with each other without it turning into something else. Um, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to like.
No, yeah, no, it's like a hard line to
Yeah.
to walk, but I get that
Yeah.
though.
And like, so for me, I decided to just like take a step back and like, put some space in between us. And I literally noticed the energy shift in myself. Like,
Mhm.
I realized how much it was really draining me. And then that's when I had decided, because I don't like decide right away, like, okay, like I definitely contemplated where our friendship was going to go. Cause, I love her. Like, I wanted us to be as close as we were. But once I like realized, like, okay, it was draining me. Like, this is different. Like, I feel different. It was like, you got to make some changes. This might be one of the things that you got to sacrifice type of thing. Because when I tell you, like, we was close, like, I mean, like,
Mhm.
every single day on the phone. I'm at work. Oh, we're still on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. Like really like my
Yeah.
best friend, like every single day, hours on end on the phone. And it was just too much. It was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
way too much. And yeah, just a disconnect. You'll feel the disconnect though, definitely. You'll
Yeah.
feel it. And then maybe I need to talk about it. Or, 'cause I definitely will say, like, do everything that you can to like, figure out if that's the right choice to make. Cause you don't want to look back and be like, damn, lost a good friend and it was really, some other shit going on in your head. But definitely the signs will be there. It'll definitely be like an obvious choice for you if you know
Yeah.
like, it's time for me to put some space between me and this person.
Good answer. Good answer.
I
Yeah.
I tried.
God will really put you in situations where you have no other choice but to do that. And yeah, like it's wild because a lot of times we're holding ourselves back or we're resistant to things because, we're just so used to it and so comfortable. And, there's so many just, feelings, emotions, memories attached. But yeah, like it just gets to the point where you just get like, okay, like at some point I'm gonna have to respect myself. And there, like, okay, we crossed that line, okay, da, 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 da. But some lines, can't be crossed. And yeah, gotta do it to you. For sure. Put you in that position like, hey, there's no other option,
You'll
So
definitely
yeah, yeah, it's a lot, and grieving those losses is a lot too. So yeah, definitely with those kind of things, give yourself grace and stuff too. Like just
Yeah.
yeah,
Nobody talks about that, like grieving friendships, like the loss of a friend.
yeah,
Like they don't really talk about that, but it is a real thing. It is a real thing. Because
yeah,
like you said, you have
yeah.
memories together. You spend a lot of time with this person, especially if they are your best friend. It is hard
Mhm.
to like notice a shift when things are happening. And, they might just be seasons. It might just have like, it just might be something that you need to talk about and like redefine your friendship and redefine expectations, because there is like a thing about I know I heard something about like, oh, I'm a high maintenance friend or I'm a low maintenance friend, and like basically what certain people need in order to feel like you're supported in that friendship, or like I don't know, like your friends, I guess. So with that, like even like with my best friend, once she got her man, it was a little hard for me to adjust because now it wasn't just me and her. And her main person that she would run to now is her man, respectfully, girl, respectfully. But I had to understand that like the new role that I play. And I had to like reshift my expectations about what I could expect from her, and then also just how I can show up too, because now I can't just pop up at my friend's house, like she got a man now, so I got to respect that. So there's a lot of different things as you grow up, you have to continuously like revisit that conversation because you're moving into different seasons of your life. So yeah, like don't just cut it off if you like see like one little sign of a bump. Like definitely try it out, work on it, because relationships are very similar to friendships. And so, you have to just really put in that work and put in the work with growth and have those hard conversations. And that's one thing that my best friend and I always really pride ourselves on, was like, hey, we feel some type of way, we're going to bring it to the table and we're going to have a conversation about it. before it turns into something, like hidden animosity or, like, just acting funny when there's no need to act funny, when you could just have a conversation about it. So definitely open up, have those hard conversations. And if that's really your best friend or like a close friend, then you should be able to have those hard conversations without feeling fearful of like what the end result would be. Obviously it's going to hurt if y'all do end up breaking off as friends. So I would be a little fearful of that. Yeah. But like not about how they would react. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to even be, like once, because I know for me and her, like we still, like I'll still text her, check on her. She'll text me or, hit me up every so and so just to say, oh, hope you're doing good, type of thing. But that's definitely where it's at. But, it doesn't have to be looked at as, something negative per se. And also to just think about the fact that you're making space for other things. How when your friend, she got her boyfriend and everything kind of changed. And I definitely feel like when I first got into a relationship, I was like low key like that. I was low key like that until my homegirl started calling me out on it. So now like I'm not like that now, but like I definitely like take the time to like think about the fact that like, okay, I've been spending every weekend with this nigga. When I'm gonna spend a weekend with my homegirls like we used to do. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. When am I gonna schedule a friend date? And I definitely want to talk about friend dates because I feel like that is so important in a friendship just for y'all to spend in-person time together. I mean, it's not always, you can't always be in person, but friend dates are they give me life, honestly. And it's definitely something that I like to try to fit into my schedule every other weekend so that it's not, oh, I'm just prioritizing this guy because I have these other relationships too that are just as important. Um, so definitely if you are one of those girls who everything is about your nigga and your friends is on a back burner, don't do that.
My man type.
Right. But
Not
Cam, I had a question for you though, because I know, we are two people that moved away from our home state. So how are you like keeping up with your friendships back in California while you're in DC?
I mean, the biggest thing is FaceTime. When I first moved out here, honestly, it was like weird. It was kind of like being in shock, like being here by myself, like I actually like up and moved. But at the same time too, like I was so like sad and missing my family. But it was weird because it's like I wasn't talking to them. It was like I just kind of was like shut in like this weird place. And so my family and friends did not hear from me, or they had to be the ones to call me first. And I realized now, like looking back like that, it probably affected them in a way to make them think like, oh, she just picked up and moved on and just went on with her life. But really, I just was like going through it and was like I'm here, but I don't know what to do with myself. This is all new. I want to go home. It was just like a whole lot of conflicting feelings. And then after that, I just feel like school started up so quickly. It got really hard for me to try and figure out like, how do I make time to call my mom, call my grandma, call my friends, and talk to all these people. And it felt like overwhelming at the same time too, because it's like everybody, and then like the time difference, like I really would just remember being so overwhelmed, and that also made me like more like shut in a way.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like I have a better balance on it. I really do try to call like my 3 closest friends. I make sure to call them at least once a week for sure. And they're good about reaching out to me too, because really it just shows that, you're on their mind, they're on your mind, and you really want to maintain this relationship in some way, shape, or form. And then the last way, of course, like is planning visits. That part's not always easiest. Plane fares is crazy. Coming from DC to California, it's actually sick. You could fly out of the country cheaper than you could
for
come to
real.
the East Coast. So that part is the hardest, obviously. And like I was just talking to my best friend a couple of days ago, and she's like, "So when are you gonna be home again?" And I said, honestly, like I don't know, because I know I was home for Christmas, and last year I went home in May. And then I was home again in September for a wedding, for my cousin's wedding. So they did see me a lot last year. And then even too, I think like a month after I had moved here, my godson, he turned 1, so I flew home for that. So like I was literally trying to get home for any reason possible that first year that I was here. But now in this second year, it's kind of like I don't have that freedom and space to do that anymore. And that's the part that really sucks. But I mean, I've had my friends come visit me so far. So that's also been really, really good. And it's like, oh, I miss this. I miss being able to like be closer to my friends. We weren't always in the same city after we graduated from college, but there was still like that accessibility, like to be able to just get in the car and drive. Like the worst thing you got to do was figure out a day where you were both free, not like having to figure out like all these other logistics and how long can you stay and what's good with your scheduling. And yeah, so I mean, long distance is definitely difficult. And of course, I'm counting down the days to when I can get to be back home and around everybody and just back close to all my people again. But for the most part, I just try and maintain the relationships that I have by just being in constant contact as much as I can, you know, and as much as they can too. But how's it for you, Jada?
I don't know. I really don't know because I don't know. Like when I first got out here, I kind of was in the same position. Like I was really shut off, very closed in to myself. And you know, that actually kind of, when you said that, it made me think about when my dad first moved away. That's probably how he felt, you know, because I was wondering like why he wasn't calling me. And that's probably the same reason. So, but
Oh, wow.
yeah, right. It's crazy to think about. But yeah, so I was very much so the same, kind of shut in. Um, and then I was like, then I got into a space where I wanted to call, but then like the time zone and the time difference was just off. So then it was like always a conflict of scheduling. My best friend and I, we kind of like at this point kind of just like gotten used to not speaking often. And I mean, what we do is like we FaceTime, or not FaceTime, we Snapchat each other every day. But Snapchat is Snapchat. Like I see your face, but like it's just like a little picture and then we go about our day. But like I don't really know like, you know, what's been bothering you, what's been on your mind, like how are you doing? You know, how's your family? Like we don't have those conversations. And so sometimes it does feel a little like, but I understand exactly like what's going on in both of our lives, but that can't be like a reason why. I feel like for something for me, I would definitely want to like set aside a specific time for us to talk just because both of our schedules are so hectic, like her being in medical school and I'm out here doing 5,000 things at one time. I know that, you know, it's easy to miss each other. So we have to really, trying to like just be intentional about that. And that's really what long distance makes you do is like the intentionality about actually showing up and, you know, like having those phone calls and really seeing the importance of them is a big thing. But I mean, I went out like I didn't go out that often because y'all, them tickets is really, they really are expensive. But
Yeah.
I was able to surprise my best friend in December, and that was really sweet. So I basically had her boyfriend act like he was taking her on a date. And instead, I was at the restaurant and he kind of just like, okay, go be on your friend date. I'm gonna pick y'all up when y'all done. And it was
That's
really
so cute.
cute. She was crying and stuff because she thought she had to pick me up from the airport the following day, but I actually came out the day before and surprised her that night. So yeah, it was really special. But you know, that kind of recharged me for going on with the rest of the months, and now I'm planning to go back for her graduation. So but it does feel like I'm missing out on a lot
Right.
of stuff. I hate that. Like whenever I see everybody going out and, you know, back in Cali, I'm like, damn, like, but I
Yeah,
would have
I
been
feel
there
you.
too, you know? So it does hurt a
Yeah.
little bit, especially because I don't have like the back home friends are different than my friends here. So it's a very like different dynamic. And so when I see the back home friends like going out, I'm like, but I know what kind of fun I can have with y'all. And I miss that kind of fun.
No, and that's
Yeah.
real. I was worried about for my birthday mixing friend groups because I planned for my 2 best friends to come out here, and then that was going to be their first time meeting my dental friends. And they're very protective. They're like, you need to let your friends know out there that we like to fight. So I said, why would I tell them that? They were like, so if they're weird, like just let them know. Like we'll have an issue. Like you're not the one to try it with. And I was like, I really appreciate y'all, but I promise I don't think it's gonna be any beef, any drama like that. But then it also ended up too that two of my other friends from college, they were in New York visiting their line sister. And so then they wanted to also come down that same weekend. And then Jada also pulled up from Virginia. She came up too. So it was just like literally like sets of friends from all different parts of life all coming together. And it actually went fine. There was nothing for me to worry about. But like me, like I guess not the people pleaser in me, but it's just naturally, I'm like, always want to make sure that like, okay, like, does this person look like this person? Like, oh, it look like that person has an issue. And it could be nothing going on. They could have got a text on their phone that said, you know, something that had them upset, has nothing to do with the situation. But I'm like, oh, she looked at her funny. So now I'm gonna have to go mediate a situation. And there's like, and that's immediately where my mind goes when I think about like mixing friendships. I just be like overthinking everything, but actually everything went perfectly fine. I had a great time and all of my friends liked each other. So
no, it was a turn up. Okay. Your birthday was fun. That's one thing. It's hard to get Taylor out here. I'm like, girl, you need to get your butt out here. But it's a little easier because you're in DC. So that's like people know DC. I'm in Norfolk, Virginia. She like, I don't want to go to Norfolk. Like, what's it?
It's like, but please.
Girl, it's me. Come out for me. I said we can have fun. Trust me. Even if it's just in my apartment. But no, Norfolk is cool. You know, we got some stuff to do. Some stuff.
You can go to that the one club you was talking about, remember?
Oh. That little hole in the wall. Nah, yeah. We could do some fun stuff. So there's some stuff to do, especially now that I live in downtown. So
and I was gonna say they do Hampton be doing something with like the beach day or whatever in spring.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
remember what it's called, but that would be a good time to do something because
Hampton is
everybody
out
be
there.
outside. What y'all though? Do y'all feel like y'all have ever had anxieties about mixing friend groups?
Ciao. Yes. Man, it's just crazy. I have friends that I've known since growing up. Then I have middle school people, my best friends I've known since middle school. Then we got high school friends, and we got UCSD friends, and like it's a lot. And so me, bro, like I feel like one thing I do, like I can't overthink it. Like been there, done that. I don't have time for that. And so I think one thing I do to kind of like mitigate, I don't know, like as far as like when it goes to just like doing little stuff like, oh, we're going to the movies, I'm not gonna be like, oh, we're going to the movies, oh, we're going to the movies. Like, no, that's unnecessary.
Right.
Like birthdays and stuff, like I definitely, invite, other people, and I try to not make things like too exclusive. So there's also like some mutuals or, some people there, so everybody's having a good time. So I don't have to like, okay, how y'all doing? Y'all good? The whole time. Cause who wants to do that, And so, but also I just really love seeing like all my friends in one place. Like for my most recent birthday, we went out to dinner and just seeing like everybody there. I'm just like, oh, I love y'all. Y'all really love me. And so it's very heartwarming to just realize that all, in one space. And I was hopping around like different conversations. I'm like, oh girl, we gotta catch up on this because I ain't seen you since and things of that sort. So I like spaces like that, but I do understand that not everybody can, be in one space. And some people in certain friend groups of mine, they don't get along. And one thing about me, at the end of the day, we all grown. Okay, so how you deal with that's your business. Y'all know my line. I'm not a therapist. I'm not your mom. I'm not your big sister. So I'm not gonna sit here and try to mitigate. Of course, if it's necessary, then yeah. But yeah, no, like I just don't. I know, like, I'm not finna be messy and be like, oh, we finna get together because I want to make y'all get along. No, nobody has time for that. But yeah, like I feel like, that's normal. Everybody's not gonna get along, and that's just that on that. And I do my best to not let that affect me, and not also not let it overwhelm, my life. There's so many other things to worry about. And yeah. And it's funny because, like, one thing about me, once I'm done, I'm done. Like, I'm done. But I understand relationships, like, you might have a falling out and then, y'all get back along. But then I just be like, dang, bro, like, I just unfollowed that person on everything. Like, I was right and you just went back. Like, but that'd just be funny to me because I'll be like, okay, Jada, like, maybe let's not do too much this time. But no, yeah, the mixing friend groups, it definitely is an interesting thing. But it is what it is, and I think with that too, just make sure like you make time for your friends that you care about. Like, you can't all be in one space all the time for you to just kill two birds with one stone. You have to make time to really dive into those different relationships, whether that be, a text to the group chat or a FaceTime call, or, a quick little movie night, just whatever, cater into those friendships, because a lot of my friends, like, they do pour into me and I really do appreciate them. And so it's like, I can't just like be like, neglect that relationship. So yeah, it definitely is an interesting thing. But it is what it is. You can't overthink it too much, because we got other stuff to worry about. But yeah. Yeah, that's all I got.
I had to deal with, so yeah, I got like old friends, like old friends. Like, I got the same friends I had in middle school. Like, and I will say, like, when we got to high school, I feel like, not that I tried to bring the group together, but the group was actually together. But let's be real, the group definitely fell apart. But I still am like cool with everybody that was in the group type thing. And I do remember it was like 1 year for my birthday. And I wanted all of my friends to go out. I wanted everybody to go out. But there's one friend and another friend, they really don't get along. And she was like one of my homegirls. She told me, like, okay, if you invite her, I'm gonna tell her to get down where she mad at. So, and I'm like, okay, really? Do whatever y'all gonna do, but that's when I'm gonna disassociate myself from the situation. Now, not to say I don't care about my friends out there, fighting and, doing whatever they do while we out, because, I don't want them to be doing that. But also, it's my birthday. So I do feel like, you're supposed to just be here for me. And if you can't keep yourself together, I'm not finna ruin my night because you can't keep that together. And, it ended up not happening. We didn't all go out together, but my friends did. They did want to celebrate with me. So I did definitely have to do like a little, okay, I'm going to celebrate with y'all, and then I'm going to celebrate with y'all type of thing.
So I'm glad for your sake that they didn't end up fighting, because it's like, that's your birthday. And it doesn't matter what kind of beef they got going on. They both have a mutual friend, and birthdays are important. I take birthdays very seriously. And I feel like as friends, celebrating your friend's birthday is very important. So yeah, if they would have started fighting, now I'm fighting. Now we're all fighting.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we all got beef.
Right. If you was beefing at that wedding, you should have been beefing at that wedding, not on my birthday.
Yeah.
That part.
Facts.
Right.
Because
I
what?
I had to compromise my little situation. But it's cool. It's cool. I still enjoyed that birthday. It was cool. But yeah, I do still have wish that everybody could have came together. For little old me. But it's cool. It's cool. I'll let it go.
Dang, I feel like there was something I was going to share and I totally forgot it. Literally, y'all, my memory. Y'all, please pray for me for when I get older, because it's not healthy. It's not.
I feel you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I kind of want to know what it is.
I'm like,
it
was deep too. And now, But I guess we can get into like friendship dynamics and all that good stuff, because that actually does play a part and kind of a role in like the different friend groups as well. But I felt like it has something to do with friend groups. Oh yes, there we go. Got it back. Okay. I was gonna say that I noticed for myself personally, I've never been good in like large friend groups. Like Cam and I know we were in a large friend group together. And I just never do well with those. I feel like I get swallowed. Like I'm a person that has to really like have that one-on-one connection with somebody. And especially when it's a big group like that, like I feel bad because I don't have like personal connections with everybody. And so I don't know, I just feel really weird. Like I always feel very weird. And I always kind of like go into like a little turtle shell, especially when we were all together at 8068. Like I would just be like in like my own little, I don't know, space, and I'll be in my head too much. So yeah, I just didn't know how to like really do that. Like even bringing different friend groups together, I don't know how to vibe and like click and stuff like that. And I know that a lot of times, if y'all are bringing friend groups together, it's like, okay, well, it's up to y'all to like, be sociable, like, like y'all here, be the social butterflies. It was always very hard for me. And I would like every time just be overthinking stuff, just like being a person that is brought to like a mixed event like that, or just like a larger group in general. It was always really, really hard for me. So I did want to bring that perspective into it, because like it was really hard and it still is hard. And I don't know, I'm trying to work through it in certain ways. And just really like, just treat it as if I'm like meeting anybody else that's new. But yeah, I don't know. I really had a hard time being in our friend group, Cam. And I don't think anybody really knew that, honestly. But I really did have a hard time.
But you know what? I think I feel you on that too, because I think I just wasn't present at that time in my life either. Like when I think back to all of our times together we had at that time, it's like a blur. Like I remember things and I remember being there, but then there will be things that like me and Sabrina or me and Denasia will be talking about. And I'm like, see, y'all were much more present than I was. So I get what you mean about like wanting, like you prioritize individual connections rather than like a whole group friendship. But I would say from the outside looking in, I don't think, I can't speak for anybody else, but I didn't feel any type of way about you in the group. Like I didn't feel like, oh, Jada's not really connected with anybody. So like you saying you was in your head, it didn't really seem like it. Like we were always all together having a good time doing whatever goofy stuff we were doing. So just to affirm you on that, if you
Thank you, because I know how it was going on in here. And it was like it was a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
I mean, people, different people are like that. That's why I think, I really hold on to like the friends that I have, because it's hard to like mix, and it's hard to like be in a lot of different spaces and have a whole bunch of friends. I just was never really that person. And how do y'all feel about like having multiple best friends? Because I know that that's like a topic that people usually debate about. Like, oh, you can't have more than one best friend. I don't know. I personally don't have really like a opinion on it, but I wanted to know if anybody else in the group did.
Yeah. I mean, I have two best friends. Those are my dogs. And I mean, like, it's just funny too, because like there's like, I would say it's a few people, like it's a handful of people that I can count that are like, my dogs, my go-tos. But yeah, I have two best friends, and yeah, those are my best friends, and they not going nowhere. So it's yeah, I don't know. I can see like just from the name, like, oh, how was one of your best friend and da 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 da. But like, bro, like it's not, it's deeper than that, it's not just, oh, like, and we also met each other around the same time too. So although like the quantity is there, the quality is still there too. Don't get it mixed up, but okay, this ain't that. But let me knock on wood. But yeah, but like, yeah, I have two best friends, and then I also have my friend Amari. I call her my twin. I've known her longer than I've known my best friends. And that's my dog. And so Yeah, like it to me, it's like those people that when you have like family events, your family asks, where are they? Like, yeah, like those are my best friends. So even if it's not even like formally said, like, yeah, Amari, that's my dog, like, and then also like my roommate as an A, she's not just my roommate, but I have to say roommate so y'all can get like some context. But that's my dog too. We live together, so we talk. Well, we be busy, but we tell each other stuff all the time. We're right here next to each other. And so it's like, that's my dog too. Like, there's a few people, select few people in my life who, are really like my riders, my best friends and stuff. So yeah, I think, don't get too like hung up and all that, stuff. You know, I love it because it's genuine relationships and stuff, and we just be loving on each other, showing up for each other, supporting each other, and it's all good vibes. But if it becomes messy, like don't it's not for you, like just point blank period. It's never been that over here, especially like I said, I've had two best friends since middle school, and so it's never been that. So if you are encountering that, is y'all either need to talk about it or it's not meant to be. Like, do not force it, because also best friend is not a term that should be used loosely as well. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I can see like how it could be like but yeah, that's how I feel.
Do your two best friends, do they feel like a pressure to be best friends too, or you don't see that?
um no. um Oh my gosh, it's funny that you say that. Because even like while I was out here for during college, like they would be hanging out and stuff, and I'm like, okay, y'all cute or whatever. But mind you, we all met each other in middle school. It wasn't like, oh, I met Alexis here, I met Deja, da da da. We all were in the friend group, so it was like, it makes sense. And so yeah. So, but now right now, they're a little rocky, but that's also where I say everybody got their own thing going on. I'm not getting into that. We all grown. Everybody like to say I'm grown, so I'm gonna let people be grown. I'm gonna mind my grown business. But yeah, no. So no, to answer that, no. Like I feel like, yeah, it's clear, no, that pressure is not there to feel that way. And I'm glad, because I don't want to force anybody or make anybody feel forced that they have to like someone, because it may be somebody that they're close to too, and I will gladly say no, it will never be that with what this other friend that you have. And so yeah, it's different, but yeah, I wouldn't put them in a position to like, oh, we all have to hang out together. No. Mm-mm.
I've probably been in the middle of something. Well, I will say I have I had my best friend. We were best friends since like the third grade. And when I went off to college, me and Sine, and she was my roommate. Well, actually, she was my roommate freshman year, but she was my roommate sophomore and junior year. So we got like really, really, really close. And personally, because like I always had like, separate group of friends. Like when I was in high school and like we had like our friend group and like our friend group fell apart, I feel like I kind of learned how to navigate the whole having multiple friends who don't really, clash well. And then I got to college and I had this best friend, and then Sine definitely felt like, we were roommates and like we literally talked to each other every day. We rode to school together, would come home together, cook together. Like it was more so, yeah, like a best friend dynamic. But there was like I don't know, I was put between a rock and a hard place in certain situations. I feel like my initial best friend, the one who, I don't know, she just kind of felt like she had like I don't know, like she had to like, I don't even know like how to explain it, but like kind of let Sine kind of know her place, like like I'm best friend, like kind of like that, like. And like like I've seen it, and we actually have like, hung out in a group setting wasn't necessarily the best setting. It wasn't, the best situation, you know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
definitely, like, there are some people who definitely feel like that, but I feel like it really shouldn't be like that, because I do have another group of friends who I consider my best friends. We didn't all go to school together, so I got one friend, she goes to school in Davis, she's in law school now, and then my other friend, she lives in Vegas now, so like we're like all separated, but those are my friends who I'm going to Jamaica with. Like, I call them my best friends, and I would still call Kyla my best friend. I would call Sam my best friend. So really, kind of like what Jay said, like there are like a handful of people who, like, my mama know them, my sister, like everybody know them, like their
Right.
family to me. These are my best friends, and yeah, don't get hung up on the title. Like, we all know, like, we should all know what it is here. Like, me and you,
Mhm.
this is me and you, this is me and you. Like, there shouldn't be don't get hung up on the title. It's not that deep. To me personally, it's not that deep. But everybody hasn't been through a situation where they had to navigate, that type of situation to gain that maturity to say, like, yeah, it ain't that deep. Because
Yeah.
it's not. It's not. And my friendship with this person is not going to take away from
Yeah.
our friendship. Like, this don't have to conflict. This don't gotta be nothing. Like,
So I got like a
Yeah.
ooh type of question though.
okay.
So then how you gonna choose who's gonna be your what do they call it? Maid of honor or something like that?
Bro, I'm
That's
so
hard.
happy that
Because
you
like
asked that.
how do you like because when it
See, I
comes
got a
down to that,
sister. I got the
then
easy way out. I got a little sister. That's
Oh
that's
yeah,
my
it's
road
easy.
dog. I haven't
yeah.
beat out. Y'all are
Yeah,
bridesmaids, and my sister is my maid of honor.
right. You know,
But I
that's
definitely thought
funny.
Damn, I don't know.
I'm laughing
That's funny
because
that you
I
say
think
that.
about this. I actually think about this very often. And it's funny because one of my best friends, I was her maid of honor, but I also shared the title of maid of honor with her other best friend at the time too.
Okay.
But I was like, there's no way on earth I'm giving all three of y'all the title of the maid of honor when it's my time. So y'all gonna have to duke it out. I don't know. Flip a coin? No.
Wait,
I really don't know. But
they're
I
gonna
just
have
feel
to
like I'm gonna worry about it when I
audition.
get there. No, yeah. I think I actually might have to do that. It might be an audition. We just gonna hold tryouts. I don't know.
Try
May the best woman
that's
win.
reasonable. That's very reasonable. Because really, all friends, everybody ain't good at planning. I
But you
got a
know what?
friend who
Yeah.
sent me a whole itinerary for our trip. That's something to think about. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know. Maybe my sister gonna be a bridesmaid. She's not really on the planning side. You have a friend though who sent me a whole itinerary for
I'm
Jamaica
screaming.
before we even bought the tickets, and I don't know. That bitch know how to plan.
That's true. You do
I think
want you
maid
do
of
want it
honor
to
is
be
doing
that
the work.
person.
Yeah, that is
You have
true.
Yeah.
to think about all the aspects of it. Because having been in 2 weddings, there are maid of honors who do what they're supposed to do, and there are maid of honors who don't do anything at all, and the bride just be sitting there like, you know. So you definitely
Yeah.
got to take into consideration, like, yeah, you love all these people, you have a close relationship with all them, and you don't know who to pick, but like, who's the person who's gonna be on time? Who's the person who's got the funds? Who's the person who got the time to help you? Who will say, you know what, all right, you ain't asked me to do anything, but what can I help with? I think it's
Yeah.
stuff like that when you get into wedding planning. You got to have somebody who be thinking about all the things the way you would as a bride.
Damn, that I feel like
Yeah.
my spot as maid of honor for my best friend is now gonna be booted now that I'm over here because I really don't know how I'm gonna be able to do it. Like I really don't.
Oh, time wise. That's what I say, girl, you are an event. Girl, you can plan an
Well,
event.
just even being there, like
Yeah.
I physically can't be there the entire time like that you're planning, and like I would only have to be there for like certain things. So I really do. I'm
I'm a stop you right there because so many events happen over virtual. Girl, no, don't put no. No, we're not even no,
Meetings with
we're not doing that today.
caterers,
We're not doing that today.
all
I don't
that.
care if you're not there. We can girl,
Just
I will be there
right.
with you on the phone. Okay. No, but I understand that. But child, we are in the
because I
world of
don't want to
virtual.
be there. Like,
Yeah, I
like
get that
even
though.
with the dress fitting, like I might not be able to make a dress fitting. Like, like I don't
Yeah.
know. Cam, how did you do that? Like with being in the wedding?
So the first time I was in the wedding as the maid of honor, I was still in Victorville, so it was a little easier. Like I just had to drive to LA, which was actually more challenging because I had a new job at the time. So that was like I cannot call off right now. Like I just got here.
Mm-hmm.
But this time around, I was just a bridesmaid, And for that, it was like I could come home for the bridal weekend. And then because of that, because of my time constraint and because like, finances and everything, she also went ahead and said, well, we'll celebrate my bachelorette the same weekend too. So that way it's like I was there for that. And then I came back in a month for the wedding itself. But everything else that I was doing, I did it from a distance. And I also didn't help as much because she had a wedding planner. So there was like a lot of things that like her and her husband were like, working out with their planner and everything. So yeah, I was very sad I missed the fitting though. I was like, send pictures. Like I needed to see everything. But yeah, it's a trade-off. But I would say the best way to do it is to just pick the dates that you want to be there for. And then everything else, you just kind of got to be like, I'm there in spirit, send pictures, love you.
Love you.
It's really a trade-off. And try and combine stuff if you can. Like,
yeah. But then I feel like I'm making her do it. And I be thinking about this a lot because I know that my best friend's going to be getting married soon. So I just know, like, I just be thinking about this all the time. Like, girl, I don't even know how this is going to work out. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that one. Oh yeah, we're going to try out.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That was a good one.
That is
hilarious.
Yeah,
I was glad that you I'm glad that you said that too, because as Desinae was speaking, I'm like, bro, like at the end of the day, if y'all want to fight over a title, I'll go ahead and call my little cousin / sister my best friend, and now none of y'all can compete. So now what? Like I think that's just a funny dynamic because like at the end of the day, like everybody knows that that's number one. So yeah. And so, but it is interesting, like just thinking, I do. Yeah, exactly. Like, sorry guys, I had no choice. But no, I think it is very interesting just seeing like those different, relationships and thinking about stuff like that. Cause yeah, I thought about that too. Like, what the heck? Who, why, how? Yeah. So yeah. It's definitely something funny to think about, like Cam saying, like, y'all just gonna have to duke it out. Like,
no, it's real.
Right, grab spoons. I don't know. Whoever.
Okay.
Right, grabbing the straw.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Something.
Right.
Make it fair.
For real.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a tough one when the time comes. I just gonna have to worry about it when I get there.
Yeah. But they're yeah, that's always like the test because you always that I don't know why, but people make it such a thing. Like they really do, and I get it, but it's like that does not define our relationship for real. It really doesn't.
That reminds me of like, what'd you say, Destiny?
Oh, I just said being a maid of honor is also like a lot of pressure. I feel like you'll luck out because a lot of females not even gonna want to be the maid of honor. Let's just be real. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's true.
You have that conversation.
Like, okay, I know I don't got the time. I know I don't got the go ahead. That's like you might get some easy out. You never know. Once you get to that bridge, you'll probably have a lot of easy outs. Cause it's a big role.
And definitely share your expectations too. Like for whoever you ask, let them know up front. Like as my maid of honor, like here's what I'm expecting you to do, and that'll let people know. Like okay, maybe I shouldn't do this.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
and it's okay to say no.
True.
Feelings won't be hurt.
Right. You got to slide that job description. Listen.
Right. So here's the contract.
Here are the qualifications. Right. Yep.
I think that goes into like I be wondering how to like people pick like godparents and stuff too, because I be thinking about that. I'm just like, how does that work? I feel like that kind of can be maybe a little easier, especially if you pick like a couple, like I want y'all, you really like, yeah, like this is a good couple, but yeah, I be thinking about that too. I'm like, dang, like how do people think about that? Like, how do they choose? Like, what goes into that? Because, like, for example, like my little cousin, her godparents are like my aunt and uncle's one of their best friends, so they're like young. But my godparents are like my great aunt and uncle, and so like it's different. Like it's just interesting. Like, how do you pick? Like, who takes that role? What does that role consist of? What is that? Yeah. So that made me think of that too. Like, how does that work? that
I am a
responsibility.
godparent, and I like expectations are really something. Matter of fact, y'all, I've been like somebody asked me to like be godparent, and I said like yes, whatever. I was in college at the time though, so like I didn't have like the most amount of time. I definitely didn't have no money,
Yeah.
and you know, eh, look, I'm a college student. I'm struggling out here, girl. Like I got my own life to figure out, type of thing, and not like
Yeah.
that, but kind of like that. And I've actually been kicked off of being someone's godparent. Like
Wow.
my cousin. She asked me to be her godparent. Note you, I was in a space where I didn't really want to be a godparent. Like I knew I wasn't in the space to, take on that and like, be able to hit you up all the time and talk to them and like all of that stuff. And, she told me like, yeah, you don't call me. I'm like, you don't call my son. You don't do this for my son. So you can't be his godmom anymore. And it was just like, you didn't even really let me know the expectations. Like,
Mm.
I don't really know how to be a godparent. I'm honestly not in the position to be a godparent. I don't know why you chose me of all people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why you chose me.
Oh, man.
Um, and I feel like people definitely need to think about that. Like, when choosing a person to be the godparent, you gotta think about where they at in their life. I know when I choose my
Mhm.
godparents, godparents for my children, it'll be okay. Are you financially stable? Are you mentally stable? Are you
Mhm.
like, it's a lot of stuff that like go into that. Cause like, let's be real about what a godparent is. If
Yeah.
something happened to me, you take my kid in, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's a big responsibility. And so I feel like people need to, especially like us, like our generation, like these young girls, like having kids, like really think about who you choosing, your godparents to be. And,
Yeah.
although, you may want to, and I'm a godparent again. This is like not the same child, but another one. My my best
Another
friend that
one.
was my best friend. This is why like I still, keep our relationship, cordial, and like I still check in on her and stuff like that because her son is my godchild. So of course like I take the commitment serious, but I also feel like, y'all gotta pay attention to where other people are in their life too. And
Mhm.
if you do feel like you're not in the space to be a godparent, say no. That's what I should have did the first time around, then just off, no feelings hurt. When I really just should have said no, because I knew where I was at.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's definitely something to think about. Like people be choosing shit for the wrong reason. Like you choose your bridesmaid, you want to choose the one who's gonna plan effectively. You choose your
Mhm.
godparents, you want to choose the ones who are going to parent your child effectively. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
Not just that's my best friend, so this and that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, maybe your best friend never even wanted kids of her own. So why would you know
That's
what I'm saying? Like shit like that?
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
so
Very
mhm.
you
true.
gotta really people gotta really think about their decisions, like think about the why.
I don't even know.
Mhm.
I know I have godparents. I don't know who they are. I don't know their names. I don't know nothing. And honestly, I feel like my family had a different like definition of what godparents were. I feel like they had the definition of like these are the people who are going to lead my child spiritually. And then whoever like if something does happen to me, then they're left to somebody else. But like they kind of like separated those different like responsibilities and expectations. And I have had somebody ask me, my friend, he asked me to be the godparent of his daughter that he just found out he had. And I was like, well, I'm gonna tell you, what, like, if I say yes, this is what I expect to be doing, and these are not the things I don't want to do. Like, I feel like the only thing that I could take on is leading your daughter spiritually, like that. I feel like I can be there for, but in
Mhm.
case something happens to you, I don't think that I would want to have that responsibility to take your child on, and just because I
Yeah.
really don't even feel like we're that close, like, so it like, yeah, I really had to I had to say I'm sorry, but like that's where I draw the
Yeah, that's
line.
valid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really is.
But Cam, you such a good godmommy to King.
I have two. I have two god babies. Both
Oh.
of
Aw.
my best friends had a son, and I'm a godparent to both of them. They're actually on my phone.
Aw.
My
That
little
is so
boogers.
cute.
I want to show y'all them. The fact I got 4D
Aw.
playing on here, but yeah, that's them, the little boogers. And I remember the first time Denasia had asked me first, and I was like, oh my God, like, yes. Cause she explained too, like, she was like, here's what I expect. Like, like Jada, you were saying, you expect like a godparent to be able to lead your child spiritually. And she was like, you've been like that person to me. So I have no doubt you'll be that for my kid. And then, like, of course, in case of an emergency, she was like, that could be talked about if something were to ever happen, of course. But like, my main thing is that I couldn't imagine anybody else doing this. And so I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then when my other best friend got pregnant and she came to ask me as well, my first thought was like, what if I ever get to a point where I feel like I won't love them equally? What if I feel like I don't have enough love? Like, and then it made me think, like, is this how parents feel when they start to have like a second kid? Like, what if,
Wow.
like,
Yeah.
and I was so worried about it. And I still said yes, but I was so, so worried. But then when, godson number 2 got here, I just was like, none of that even mattered. Like, all of those doubts went away. And I literally can't imagine not having both of them. I mean, regardless if they wasn't my godsons, they would still be like, nephews. But still, like, those my dogs. Those are my little humans. I love them so much.
Aw, that's
So
so
yeah.
cute.
But then it also makes me think like, it's back in the running. We're gonna have godparent childs. And then I thought, like, what if I just don't pick any and now nobody gets to be a godparent? Like, what if we just don't pick it all? Or like, I'll think of like family members because I have a god sister. My parents, my dad's cousin, like his daughter, like that's who he asked to be the godparents and stuff. So I'm like, okay, what if I ask a family member to do it? But then I'm like, if I gotta think so hard about it, maybe it's not something that I really want to do,
Mhm.
We'll see how I feel when I have kids. That's how I think about it.
Right. We're throwing a lot of hypotheticals out there today. I love that.
Right. For real.
Shoot, we adults now. That's crazy. Whew.
This is real life, though.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh,
It
we talk about
is.
weddings, babies, and god babies.
Right. We done got deep.
Man, okay. These are, conversations that, we don't really talk about a lot, but clearly it's things that are on our mind. And so I'm glad we've, been able to talk about it. And then we're recording for the podcast. So like other people will be able to listen and relate. And kind of like, if you're listening with somebody, y'all could talk about it. Or even if you're by yourself, you can think about it internally, like, have that conversation. So I'm glad that we, talked about this stuff because I think it's just funny. Like we all thought of it. It's just like we never really. I know I've never really sat down and like had a conversation about it. I just think about it. So yeah, I'm glad that we talked about all these different things from friendships to people fighting to be the god mama. But, yeah, I appreciate the conversation for real. Talking about not even like taboo topics in this sense, just like things you don't really like talk about much.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4D for you. Shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it here.
I know. I always walk away from these recordings like just feeling so good.
Girl,
Right.
me too. And I was not feeling too hot before this, but now
Girl.
I feel good.
Yeah. Well, what episode is this? Episode 4?
Yeah.
Episode 4.
Wow.
Really
That is so
groovy.
wild. Like
It is.
talk
And
about
next episode
consistency.
is going to be halfway through our first season.
Wow.
No,
Look
that's
at us. Look at us.
That's wild. What the heck? We got season. We got a season, y'all.
no, for real. The catalog.
What? Oh my gosh. I love that. This is a prime example. Like, if you want to do something, just do it, bro. Like, just do it. Just do it. Get into it and just do it. You'll never know how it's gonna go, but you really never know if you don't try. So just do it.
That part. How would y'all rate this episode?
I give it a 3D.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say 3D. Yeah.
Yeah.
3D.
Yeah. We all share like
Yeah.
personal stories and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we get deeper
I
and
said
deeper,
3.
a little more open every episode, a little more personal.
Yeah. I know some things
No, what's the worst
Right.
that can happen?
Facts.
I really have to right when I get just like start overthinking about certain stuff. I really have to put it like in a dire situation. Like, okay, if I do this, like, is somebody finna hit me? Is somebody finna beat me up? Like, is this life or death? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. And so
Exactly.
I do it anyway.
Just saying,
Everything works out.
right. It's out there.
Hey, you know.
Right. So I'm happy that we, have this space to be vulnerable. So I give it a 3. For sure. We got pretty deep.
All right, let us know, y'all. Let us know. Comment.
Yeah.
Don't forget to comment under. Let us know. Rate on Spotify.
Yes. It's been a few episodes now, so y'all should be able to rate.
Right. You know the drill.
Right.
Yes. Oh, also just letting y'all know, like, we're on all like social media platforms for the most part. If you're watching us, we're on YouTube. So subscribe, like, comment too. Like, we'll reply back. Twitter. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Like, y'all, we are out there. So follow us on everything because we know you have an account. If you don't have all, you have at least 3. So follow us, please. And it's for Deep Pod everywhere. FOURDEEPPOD, even on Gmail. So if you see anything else, it's not us. It's not us.
They're frauds.
Okay.
And then in honor of the friendship episode, I think everybody should think of a friend that they would send this to when they listen. Because I know somebody popped up in your head when we were talking.
Right.
A friend that you love, a friend that you fell off with, a friend that you in a space with, a friend maybe that you wasn't a good friend to. You want to double back because that was me for a little bit. I wasn't the best friend, but hey, room for growth and all that.
Yes. Let this stir up something in you. So reflect. Take the time to reflect. Because that's definitely what we did today. So tell a friend about 4D.
Okay. Well, cheers to episode 4. Clink, clink, clink.
Clink, 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 y'all. And we'll see y'all on the next one.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.